It is happening again in Detroit. We are going through a metamorphosis. Bunch of the players and coaches that we have known over the last few years will not be returning or are rumored to not be returning next year. And with so much change, what is going to happen to this team? That's what we're going to get into in this video. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Brian. Like I said, guys, we've already had a few confirmations of players and, of course, coaches of John Morton, the OC, not returning next year. We had Frank Ragnow, one of our star offensive linemen, confirmed that he will not be back next year. He is going to go into retirement, and it appears that he is not the only one. That's what we're going to get into in this video. But before we get into any of that, we do have a quick word from the sponsor of this show. Hey guys, before we got into the rest of the news, I just want to let you know that this video is brought to you by Kalshi. And if you use code DIGESTNFL as well as the link in the description, you will get $20 for free to trade with after you trade with your first 100. You guys are going to want it because, guys, Kalshi is the #1 trading platform in the U.S. Whether you're in California, New York, or Detroit, Michigan, you can use this app. And you guys can trade on things like politics, sports, even the weather. They got it all. I even got a couple examples here. We got Green Bay versus Chicago in the wild card round. Personally, I'm leaning more towards Chicago, especially with Jordan Love being concussed. And the Chicago Bears suffering a loss to, I forget what team. But that's not all, guys. You can also take futures as well, like who's going to win the Super Bowl. This is all available over at Kalshi. So click the link in the description and get trading, guys. What a great ad read. But let's get back into it. Like I said, bunch of changes happening right now. If you guys did not know, I may have just, spilt a little tea that you may have not known. Frank Ragnow is not coming back next year. That is confirmed. There was a recent news article 3-4 days ago. Absolutely brutal. And it appears the offensive line is going to have a few more changes along the way. Not the least of which is going to be, that's my man Frank Ragnow. But we also have the news of why I thought I'd make this video is that Tyler Decker will also not be suiting up. Well, rumored, I should say. This is all speculation at this point. However, there are a lot of signs that you pick up on when someone is going into retirement, and this is as good of it as any. If you guys did not see, there was a video after the last game of the season last week, and Tyler had a few things to say, and I actually have the quote right here for us. It's a little bit of a longer one, so bear with me here. You know how, like, medieval shows, there's like that old warrior, and he just wants to die in battle. I feel like that's how I feel, but I can't. I can't do that because it's not just me. It doesn't just affect me, hypothetically speaking. And that just makes it harder. That makes it so much harder because I know I can still play. But what is that going to do to the future of my family? Yeah, I mean, if that's not clear, if you watch the video, and I encourage you all to do so, there's a few tears, there's a few emotions going through him as he is saying this. You can kind of feel it in the quote itself. Of course, not as good of a read as he gave it, but it appears that he's done. I think he wants to play. It's father time gets us all, and I respect it in terms of the person. And if he thinks that his body is on the edge, we of course don't want him to, we don't want anybody to quote unquote die on the battlefield. So it's hard, but I think he is done. That's as good of a telltale sign as anything. Of course, there is no retirement announcement yet as officially, but I mean, we can read between the lines. And unfortunately, it appears that he might not be the only one that is going to not be there next year. We also have star Dan Skipper teasing retirement as well. I mean, we all know Dan Skipper. He is a Detroit Lion as there ever has been. A guy was counted out, a guy that people said wasn't good enough to start, would never start, kept trying. He was even cut from this very team on the Hard Knocks. We were actually able to see that happen. But he came back, he fought back, and he became a star in Detroit. I mean, you got to tip your cap to the guy. Unfortunately, similar to Ragnow, and Decker, it appears that again, Father Time, it just gets you in the end, and he might be retiring next year. There is more than likely, I say might, more than likely, of course, no official retirement announcement yet. Going to take some time to think about it, but it appears that he will not be there next year, unfortunately. And I wish it stopped there. I really do. But we have some non-offensive linemen that have teased they might not be back next year, and this one really stings, not just because I have his jersey, but because I love the way that he plays. David Montgomery might not be back next year. Now, of course, this is much more of a rumor than any of the others. David Montgomery, of course, is still going to be playing, so this is more of a trade prospect or perhaps getting put on waivers or whatever it might be. There have been murmurs, both from Montgomery and as a collective, that he has not been happy. That he was not happy this year. His touches, his importance on the offense was severely diminished. Jahmyr Gibbs was the clear starter, and as opposed to the Sonic and Knuckles duo where you go half and half on the carries, it appears that Jahmyr Gibbs was the guy, and this would hurt. This one really hurts. I mean, I do have some stats here to back up why Montgomery is thinking like this. This is his most recent post. He posted a bunch of pictures of him and him as the line, and the caption read, "For the love of the game, number 5, peace sign." The comments also on this post were a lot of him saying, basically, people are feeling in Detroit that he is not going to be there next year. With Gibbs getting so many touches, David Montgomery is a starting running back. I believe that through and through. He was as crucial as Jahmyr Gibbs was in the previous season, not last year, but the previous one, in our run game. Even the fact that he was injured, I also have some more stats backing that up as well. David Montgomery, of course, this was him in 2024. As you can see, he was injured for 3 games, but look at the carries. 250 to 185. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs was a lot more explosive. He had the speed, and that was important. But what this stat does not show you is the ground and pound that David Montgomery gave us. He is the guy on 4th and 1 you gave the ball to push right in the middle of the line. Was he the flashiest guy? No. But he gave you those tough yards, those Detroit Lions yards that we needed. And, man, there's been times this year that David Montgomery has shown that he can be at that level. And, of course, I mean, I have the stats as well for this season. But obviously didn't get injured this year. But even with that, still less carries. But you can also see basically the same amount of yards. I think it was, I just saw it, 716 in 2025 as compared to 775. So despite not playing in 3 games, he still had a similar amount of production on the yards with less carries and less game time. I mean, if this isn't a sign that this is a guy that deserves to be playing on the Detroit Lions, then I don't know what is. Unfortunately, with a star like that, with a guy that produces that amount of numbers, we gotta give him some more love. And I think towards the latter half of the season, that love was given to him. We got a lot more production in that way, but unfortunately, much like the graphic right now, it appears he's just not happy. I believe he should come back. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, especially with a new offensive line that could produce so much more in the run game that we saw last season. I think he should. I really want to see him come back. However, to the flip side of that, as I was just talking about throughout this video, we have a lot of needs on the offensive line. And a guy like David Montgomery is a high prospect for a lot of teams out there. He's a veteran. He knows how to play with different teams. He went from Chicago to Detroit. He had those explosive years. He knows how to get everything I just explained. Teams all see that. Teams know it. He could be a crucial piece in a trade, perhaps, and even a voice crack. to maybe bulk up our offensive line, or maybe even get some of that depth in the defense that we have been lacking. If he's not happy, unfortunately, we do have Jahmyr Gibbs. One sign leads to another. If he wants to leave, clearly the offense has geared toward Gibbs, as well as Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams. We might have to say goodbye to Montgomery. I think that's where it's leading. I don't like it. I mean, if you can't tell by my body language, I don't like it. And man, it's going to be a bummer to see him on another team if that ends up happening. Of course, these are all rumors at this point. This could be a player just perhaps wanting a little bit more money, gauging his fan interest, so he can take this to the team and say, hey, this is how much I bring in terms of a fan base. This is how much the team wants you. And with a lot of rumors going on about Holmes, and he could leverage this to stay on the team, perhaps get a little bit more money, which, I think he might deserve it. But I guess we will have to see. What do you guys think? Should we keep Montgomery? Are you upset about the offensive line? Are you excited, perhaps, that we could get some new blood in here? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. And as always, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers before the end of this month, and I can't do that without you guys' help. I appreciate everyone who tuned in today. I will see you guys in our next video right here at Lions Digest. Have a great one, everybody.